Hey guys, Cosmos TV here, and just a brief overview of what we went through last time. I'm kind of giving you guys a glimpse. I've let everything build up, but today we're starting episode 2. And I added the biomass burners to kind of get us to about 100, but I haven't started using them yet. And I built out and started doing a little more of the platforming so we can kind of do this. And I raised up 2 because last time I couldn't build over those miners, and I'll give you guys an overview of the other base that I have and have been working on over this time. But today we're going to be going through tiers 1 and 2. We're going to be talking about power a little bit. We're going to be talking about splitters, mergers, and how to go ahead and effectively use those things. We're also going to be adding our copper and working up to the space elevator. So it's kind of a big episode, a lot to get through. There's going to be a lot of cuts and flashes. So as we get ready to research and progress 4, here we go, getting ready to do the logistics upgrade in tier 1. Now, what's so significant about this upgrade is obviously that now we have the ability to use splitters and mergers. Splitters and mergers can be used to make you more effective on how you're using the resources in the game. So currently we are only using the one constructor, one smelter. This is a very inefficient way to use these resources. As our miner here does 60 per minute and the smelter only uses 30, we could essentially split that currently because the belts hold 60. And here's the lineup of what we're going to do. We're going to go from miner to splitter to 2 smelters, 2 constructors, back to a merger, into a storage container. That's going to give us the ability to maximize what we're doing here. So I'll speed build through here and I'll catch up with you guys in a second. A key note to these is making sure the arrows are directed and pointed where you want them to go. And just another thing is, this is not our permanent base. This is just to make sure that we can start building to efficiency. So keep that in mind as you guys are building through this and working your way through. So as we go to add power, we can continue to add biofuel to the biomass burners as necessary. And remember, there's only 4 connections per, so I did a second pull here so then one would be able to run over to our copper production that we're going to be doing today. So I like to center mine on the merger here because I'm only doing these 2 here and it's very clean. It doesn't get the power lines in the way, and I'm able to do that. I connect everything up and then the production line starts running. Now for iron plates, this is insanely effective because this is essentially how much you can run off it. You got 60 from the miner to 30 to each smelter, comes in 30 to each constructor, and then that outputs 15 plates per, and then now you're running 100% production off of a Mark 1 miner on the normal iron node. If this was an impure node, then the one line would have been all you could be able to do with this without having to overclock, which we'll also discuss later on here in the video. You're going to do the same thing with iron rods, only with iron rods you don't need to build a second smelter because each one takes 15, so you could essentially have 4 constructors, but I'm going to keep it to 2 just to keep it basic. I'm not going to get too crazy down here on the floor. Showing you guys the different fuel types here. So biofuel, we did that in the last, and this is kind of showing you how much more efficient it is. And then we're going to be working eventually into coal. And compacted coal is not in the game yet, it's just on the chart here to give you an idea of the difference, how much more energy compacted coal is going to give you. So then you'll have to build less of a power grid, or you can do more. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start working out, which I kind of already did. I'm going to finish laying some of the foundations here for where I'm going to place the copper. It's not going to be the most, the closest place that it could be. However, it's going to work for now until we get everything placed up onto where our main factory floor is going to be, which I'll show you guys because later on in the video we're going to place the base foundation for our main factory floor. But here we're just laying down the simple basics and getting the foundation spread out so that way we can place down more. Don't be afraid to overbuild, guys. It's not really going to hurt you in the long run. You'd rather have the space than have to go back and edit yourself space in. So as you're doing this and getting ready to build, don't be afraid to build. Just build. Go big. Go big or go home, they say. So I'm getting ready, and I've already built everything. I'm not going to do cable. Cable will be the only production we're not going to have here because I just don't want to have to add that extra production line. I'll just build the wire, and I'll build cable as I need, but that's set up the same way as the iron plates. So that's assembly, if you want to go back at 130-ish or so, it'll show you guys that buildup. That same setup can be used here for copper to make wire, and it's gonna make so much wire that I could just grab wire, make cable if I need. And I already pre-did that before I did all this. I told you guys copper's one of the last things I do, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys. I do get it going early because you need so much of it to build like your space elevator to get, and you don't want to have to handcraft all of that. But a lot of this video, there's probably a couple hours in between where I just let my machines run and let them build resources as we go. So now that I got that finished, I'll connect power up here to our copper, and we will start producing wire. And you don't need little conveyor poles after you build, so you can always delete them to get your little resources back. Now this one's a big upgrade because you get the extra inventory slots. So +5 inventory slots is kind of big. You're able to carry more, so it's kind of nice. And then, but all these upgrades here from here on out are really not that majorly impactful. Part assemblies and obstacle clearing are the only two that are your main real things, and obstacle clearing for the chainsaw. So I like to be able to do things with the chainsaw because you're able to clear the bushes off your foundation, and before you get to coal, there's no better way to collect resources for biofuel. And we'll make a little biofuel system, so again, you don't have to sit there and handcraft all of it. It'll just run while you can continue to run around, build, add foundation, and do all those things. So as we're getting ready to put together our chainsaw here, you can see it takes some components, so I gotta go make some screws and plates, so we'll do that real fast. And you need some fuel source, biofuel, to run the chainsaw. So I had a little bit left over, so this way I could show you. I'll come in, and I don't have to cut every tree. It will clear small spaces around itself, and it can also clear some rocks. So if you have a somewhat, not a like a small boulder, little white boulder, or something really close to your base, you can actually clear some of that out with the chainsaw. Not these obvious big rocks here, like this one's actually part of the actual terrain itself, and you can see it's not white, so I have to jump under my platform here to get to it. It'll highlight white, you cut it, it'll cut all the bushes, leaves, shrubs, everything that's nearby will be cleared out with the chainsaw. So really nice, efficient, and you can come cut trees, you can cut down, you can cut bushes. If you don't want to sit here and pick fields of flowers, come cut a flower, it'll clear an area around it. I'm not sure what the spread of the area is, but I will find a little boulder here to show you guys if I can clear it off the ground like these little white boulders would, but there has to be a bush or something near it. So like this little white boulder here on the ground, as an example, you'll see I'll get some limestone. Boom. So now we've ran around, collected enough resource for us to go ahead and start making biofuel, to where I want to start using the biomass burners. I really don't like putting biomass in them when I have biofuel as an option. So real quick, I'm going to put together a little container dump system for me to put leaves in one, wood in the other, to make biomass, then convert that to biofuel. And as you can see, the little system up here is running, and I'm still just a little under, and I've added as I needed to, so we're right at about 84 megawatts right now. So this little system, I put leaves in one, and then I put wood in the other, and it runs to its own. You can't mix them, they have to be on different constructors. Again, absolutely unnecessary system, but yeah, I mean, it's there. So I did find a crash pod, and the hard drives are the main things you're looking for in the game. Now, don't be afraid. I believe there's like 67 crash pods in the game, and only 17 alternate resources currently available. So without having to be super concerned about anything, just go explore the map. Go explore, and this is what the crash pod sites look like. So don't be afraid to go out there and explore, because these alternate recipes will really help you in the long run. So overclocking production is the very first research you do with the green slug. It does consume a slug initially, but it allows you to take those slugs and convert them into power shards. And the power shards allow you to overclock buildings to produce more resource, but it also takes more power to do so. So be cognizant when you use these. In this example here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I would put the shard in here, and then I could move the slider bar up to however many I choose to do. It'll give me more power, but it'll consume more fuel. So as we get ready to continue along our way here, I'm showing you the only real main upgrade I have left is I really need part assembly. Now obviously you will upgrade everything, but it's not really a big deal what order it goes. We're not necessarily ready for the assemblers just yet, and that is going to be the one after the weight I do. There's no specific order in which you do these. However, I like to get my chainsaw pretty early so I can go ahead and start using biomass burners and let the game start running its own. So as I start to place my factory here, I build up with walls first, and for me, I like to go up about 7. You can go up more, you can go up less, but 7's pretty good for me, because as I've done other saves, oil refineries are about 7 high, so if you don't build it at least 7, you won't be able to build over those, and then you'll just have to redo everything. And if you don't want to redo everything, you pre-plan it and you try to get ready. So getting up there, you can use stairs, but I don't like to use the stairs, so I wait for walkways. And as I told you, that's my next upgrade, so that way I can get up there and start adding the platforms. So I believe now we are done and waiting, and now we have our alternate recipe choice. So you're going to get 3 options to choose. There is no right or wrong option. Eventually you want to explore all of them. It's a matter of preference as to what you want to use at the moment. And I suggest trying to find them early before you build out your full production line, so then you don't have to reassemble everything to try to make it useful or more successful in the way that you build your factory. So the earlier you get your alternate recipes, the better off you're going to be. Each pod takes something different. Don't be afraid to get out there and just find it. You can always take a beacon and leave a ping on the map for you. So now I got the ramps. I'm going to build my way up. Again, everything will be changing. We'll eventually do something really cool with how we get up to the first factory floor. But for now, you just need to get up there. So you can do that pretty simply with the ramps. You just got to make sure they're all facing the right way. And I'll build a couple here to show you guys, and then once we get down to this little transition, I'll skip through a little bit, so that way we're not sucking up too much time on stuff that's not necessary. Alright, as you finish this, I just place my foundation out a little bit more, so that way I'm not going to fall as I climb up here. Now, when it comes to laying down the foundation, again, don't be afraid to overbuild. Overbuild if you need to. I'm going to do this one initially 60 tiles out. So my first row is going to be 60, and I think the factory is eventually going to be 60 by 60. We might do something different with this one, like I said when I show you guys the base tour, but right now I'm going to build out as far as I can just to get the base gone. So as you collect your alternate recipes, don't forget to go back and research them, or else you won't be able to use them. So you're going to upgrade, you're going to research it, and then you have to upgrade to receive it. It doesn't send the pod away, which is what I'm showing you here. I can research it, then research something else. So this is one of my favorite animations in the game, is the space elevator. So the space elevator is pretty cool, and this is going to unlock the future tiers. And in order to do that, you do it the same way you unlock anything in tier 1 and tier 2. So as the space elevator comes in, it's one of the, I think, the coolest animations in the game. So I particularly took a moment so you guys could check this out. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, I mean, but super cool. And this is how we're going to continue to progress through the game, unlocking tiers 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and future tiers. So future tiers coming, you'll have to unlock through the space elevator itself. This consumes quite a bit of resource. As your production line's going, it's really not as bad, but the initial costs can be kind of devastating, as I'm going to do this first one by hand. So this first one's going to be done by hand by me personally because I want to unlock coal. So I don't spend a lot of time with biofuel because I don't really like to go around and have to cut things down in the middle. I want to keep building and letting things collect. So let me get these resources done so that way we can unlock tiers 3 and 4, and I will show you guys the first space elevator unlock. So you load it up just like you do any other tier, except this one, you, instead of hitting a button, you got to pull a little lever. So you seal your container, it comes down, and then you can send it off, and I'll show you the animation for that too. This is one of my favorite animations in any game here, except for the little buggy glitch right there. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but just ignore that. Super cool, one of my favorites. So that unlocks 3s and 4s. So to unlock 5 and 6 takes different resources. So that allows you now, and we're looking at going and finding coal. So our next episode is going to be coal, and you got Mark II belts, which are going to allow you to upgrade your capacity on the belts. Because right now we can only do 60. That'll give us 120. So in the next episode, guys, we're going to be going into coal and probably laying down our very first production line to a somewhat finished product. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you next time.